Let's read.
Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph worked as the bad guy in a video game called Fix-It Felix Jr. Every time someone played the game, Ralph leaped on screen and yelled, "I'm gonna wreck it!" Then he climbed up to the Nicelanders' big apartment building and pounded it to pieces. Game after game, the Nicelanders called for Fix-It Felix, the game's good guy. Using his magic hammer, Felix fixed all the damage Ralph had caused. The Nicelanders gave Felix medals and pie, but they threw poor Ralph in the mud. The Fix-It Felix Jr. game had been in Litwack's Family Fun Center for 30 years. The game looked old-fashioned. Day after day, kids enjoyed watching Ralph wreck everything at the start of each game, and then had fun working the joystick to help Felix fix all the damage. Inside the game, though, Ralph was tired of getting thrown in the mud. He wished he could win pies and medals, like Felix. Why couldn't he be the good guy once in a while? One night, Ralph traveled to another game in the arcade to attend a support group for video game bad guys. When Ralph told them how he felt, the other bad guys gasped. They believed that changing who you were always led to trouble. But Ralph was not convinced. That evening, the Nicelanders held a 30th anniversary party. But Ralph wasn't even invited. He felt terrible. Wasn't he just as important to the game as Felix? "I'm going to that party," he declared. As soon as he got there, Ralph saw a cake with a Candy Felix figurine on top wearing a medal. Ralph wanted his own figurine to wear a medal too, but Nicelander Gene said, "Bad guys don't win medals." Ralph was so upset, he accidentally wrecked the cake. Sadly, Ralph left and got a soda. A dazed-looking soldier joined him. He'd come from a new game called Hero's Duty. The goal of his game was to battle nasty cybugs and climb a tower to get a medal. But when a bug ran across the table, the soldier screamed and fainted. Ralph decided to visit Hero's Duty to win one of his medals. He snuck into the game, and at first it looked like his plan might work, but once the game started, huge, hungry cybugs attacked. They gobbled up characters, vehicles, and weapons. Ralph had never been so frightened. Luckily, the game was over quickly. Inside Hero's Duty, as the game began to reset, a beacon appeared at the top of the tower. See that? The cybugs flew into the light and were zapped dead. Sergeant Calhoun, leader of the soldiers, was furious. She yelled at Ralph for not following orders, but Ralph was not listening. He wanted that medal, which was at the top of the tower. Meanwhile, a girl in Litwack's Family Fun Center put her coins in the Fix-It Felix Jr. game, but Ralph did not appear on screen. There was no one to wreck the building. This game's busted. Mr. Litwack taped an out-of-order sign to the screen. The Nicelanders were stunned. Where was Ralph? If the game didn't work, they would lose their jobs. They'd be forced to pack up and leave. Felix decided to find Ralph and bring him back. "I can fix this," he told his friends. Back in Hero's Duty, Ralph was climbing the tower. After reaching the top, he tiptoed through a room full of cybug eggs. At last, he reached the Medal of Heroes. It was his. Suddenly, his foot knocked an egg. Crack. A baby cybug emerged and jumped onto Ralph's face. Ralph tumbled into an escape pod, which instantly launched from the tower. Just then, Felix arrived in Hero's Duty, searching for Ralph. He could see Ralph inside the escape pod as it zoomed out of the game, but where was Ralph going? The escape pod whooshed out of Hero's Duty and crash-landed inside another game. It was a racing adventure called Sugar Rush. Everything was made of candy. Ralph was thrown from the pod, and the cybug sank into a lake of taffy. The medal flew high into the branches of a peppermint tree. A little girl named Vanellope was in the peppermint tree. When she saw the medal, she shouted, "A gold coin!" and she grabbed it and ran away. Ralph tried to stop her, but he fell out of the tree and into the pool of taffy. Meanwhile, at the Sugar Rush Stadium, the random roster race was about to begin. King Candy explained each racer needed a coin to enter. The top finishers would appear as racers in the game the next day. Vanellope didn't have a coin, but she had Ralph's medal. Clang! She tossed the medal into the pot. It worked. Vanellope had entered the race. The crowd gasped when they saw Vanellope. "It's the glitch!" Vanellope often flickered and twitched because of a problem in Sugar Rush's programming. "Stop her!" King Candy shouted to the donut place. Just then, Ralph barreled onto the track covered in taffy. He wanted his medal back. but King Candy explained that only the winner of the next race could get the medal. He ordered Ralph to leave Sugar Rush, but Ralph had other plans. Ralph tracked Vanellope through Lolly Stick Forest, but just as he was about to confront her, the other racers showed up. They ordered Vanellope to drop out of the race and then smashed her cart and tossed her into the mud. That made Ralph mad. He chased the mean racers away. Vanellope thanked Ralph and promised to return his medal if she won the race. Reluctantly, Ralph agreed to help her build a new cart. With Calhoun's help, Felix found the wrecked escape pod. Calhoun was worried, though. Even one loose Cybug could endanger all the games in the arcade, and Felix needed to bring Ralph home. "I don't want Ralph to go turbo," he told Calhoun. "What does that mean?" she asked. Felix explained that Turbo had been the star of an old-style racing game until a newer, fancier arcade game had arrived. Turbo was so jealous he left his home in the game and snuck into the new one. People who tried to play the game thought it was broken. Finally, Mr. Litwack unplugged both games and hauled them away. "I can't let that happen to my game," said Felix. While Calhoun and Felix were talking, Ralph and Vanellope snuck into the cart bakery and used the equipment to bake a new cart. Gears ground, flour flew, sugar spilled, eggs cracked, and batter splattered. The finished cart looked crazy, but Vanellope loved it. They took the cart to Vanellope's secret hideout inside Diet Cola Mountain. It was a huge cave with a stalactite of Mentos hanging over the lake of hot cola. Every now and then, a few Mentos would fall, sending a fizzling plume of cola up. Ralph wrecked the rocks around the lake to make a practice racetrack. Ralph thought she might be a natural at racing if she didn't twitch and glitch. Just before Vanellope and Ralph left for the race, King Candy found Ralph alone. The king had broken the rules and gotten Ralph's medal back. He explained that if the glitch ever won the race, Sugar Rush might be put out of order for good. King Candy left, and moments later, Vanellope arrived. With a smile, Vanellope gave Ralph a medal that she had made for him that said, "You're my hero." Ralph tried to talk Vanellope out of racing, but she would not listen to him. Ralph felt terrible, but he really believed that racing would put Vanellope in danger. With no other choice, he wrecked her cart. "You really are a bad guy," Vanellope sobbed. Sadly, Ralph returned to the Fix-It Felix Jr. game. All the Nicelanders had fled. He angrily threw his medal at the front screen, the out-of-order sign. Suddenly, he could see the Sugar Rush Council. Vanellope's picture was on the outside. So King Candy had lied. Vanellope wasn't a glitch. She belonged inside Sugar Rush. Ralph hurried back to Sugar Rush, searching for Vanellope. He discovered that King Candy had locked her and Felix in his castle. Ralph rescued them both and convinced Felix to fix her cart. Ralph, Vanellope, and Felix rushed to the stadium. The race had already started, but Ralph pushed Vanellope onto the track, and away she went. Vanellope sped up to the other racers. She glitched and twitched past them all. "This is my kingdom," King Candy snarled, trying to keep his lead. King Candy slammed into Vanellope's cart and started to glitch. As the crowd watched on the stadium's big screen, the king flickered just for a moment. He was actually Turbo. "You've ruined everything," he yelled at Vanellope. Vanellope was zooming towards the finish line when disaster struck. Thousands of Cybugs burst from beneath the racetrack. The Cybug that had stuck to Ralph's face had multiplied. One big bug even gobbled up King Candy. "Evacuate the game," Calhoun ordered, but Ralph would not leave without Vanellope. Then he remembered that Cybugs flew towards light. Ralph raced to the top of Diet Cola Mountain and started smashing the top of the stalactite. But the Cybug that had eaten King Candy grabbed Ralph and carried him into the air. Ralph fought back, so when the bug dropped him, Ralph fell back down and smashed through the roof of the mountain, and the Mentos stalactite broke, falling towards the hot Diet Cola spring. Vanellope glitched her cart through the side of the mountain and saved Ralph just before he fell into the hot cola. When the candy hit the cola, kaboom! A bright white geyser exploded skyward. The Cybugs turned and flew into the light. Zap, zap, zap! All the bugs were destroyed. With the Cybugs gone, Felix finished the race, fixed the finish line, and Ralph pushed Vanellope's cart across it. Immediately, the game reset. Then something incredible happened. Vanellope began to sparkle, and she was transformed into a princess. Vanellope was the rightful ruler of Sugar Rush, but Vanellope did not want to be a princess because she preferred to be a president. and she really liked glitching. It was her racing superpower. It was time for Ralph, Felix, and Calhoun to return to their own games. Penelope hugged Ralph goodbye. Back in the arcade, Mr. Litwack was just about to unplug Fix-It Felix Jr. when the little girl shouted the game was working. The kids lined up to play it. Ralph was back, and the Niceland was saved. I'm gonna wreck it. Ralph still worked as the bad guy, but he didn't mind now. The Nicelanders appreciated him, and they even gave him a special cake. Best of all, Ralph knew he was no longer needed a medal to prove he was good. Because if that little kid likes me, how bad could I be?